to another Raven's Bread webcast. Tonight I have Matthew Porter as my guest. He's a student up at Cedarville, and he's also one of my best friends. In addition to that, he's also a godly young man who continually convicts me with his lifestyle and his level of holiness. Now, Matthew, like me, you're a single Christian young man, and I know that's hard to believe looking at him, but being single oftentimes is difficult. And so that's the very topic that we're going to talk about tonight. So starting us off, what do you think are some of the advantages of being a Christian single in today's world?
Well, I think people who are married and have a family, obviously that's a huge blessing that God has given them. But those are commitments that those people are tied to their spouse and to their children, and so they don't have the same amount of time that a single person would to devote to other things. And so I guess a single person has an advantage over them in that they don't have as many commitments, and God can use them in ministry in ways that a married person couldn't. Like if God called a single person to be a missionary, they wouldn't have much to tie them down here in the States, whereas a married person would have to figure out where to put their children in school, and where they might get medical care for their family and whatnot. So a single person has more time and less commitments, so God could use them in different ways.
Okay, excellent answer. Well, what do you think a young person should be doing as they're waiting to find a spouse? What do you think they should be busying themselves with?
This is funny because I've been considering this for my summer plans as well, and I think a lot of prayer should be gone into how God might use you, and obviously as for married and single people, I think they should submit their plans, their lives to God, because we have our plans, and we kind of have an idea of what we'd like our lives to be, but God may have a different plan in mind. And so for them as well as single people, I think we need to submit our plans to God and be willing to do what He wants us to do, whether that's something overseas or here in the States, and then investigate options as what ministries God might have you involved in.
Okay, excellent. Now finally, I'm sure there's some people out there who are going to be watching this, and I'm sure at times you have probably felt this as well. You think, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. I'm never ever going to find somebody. So if somebody's feeling that right now, what advice would you give them? Or is there a message of hope that you would give them, or what would you say to them?
That is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially as they get older and older. But I think it goes back to trusting God, just because He knows our desires and what our hearts desire. So and He knows that, so we can trust Him to provide. And that may or may not mean a spouse, but God knows what's best for us. And so just praying and trusting Him for results, because God can use us in powerful ways if we're in His will.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for answering these questions this evening and for being on Raven's Bread webcast. And watch for a new Raven's Bread webcast every Saturday.